Hey, how's it going everybody? In this video, we're going to briefly cover the concept of joins in SQL. Joins are very helpful because they allow us to combine the rows from multiple tables based on related columns. In order to explain the concept of joins, I have prepared an easy example that we're going to have a look at. You can see that I've prepared two tables. The first table is the customers table, and in this table we have the customer ID, we have a first name and a last name. And the second table that I have is the orders table, and in the orders table I have the order ID, the customer ID, and the name of the item that was purchased. Since the customer ID is in both the orders table and the customers table, we are able to join these two tables together and make a relationship between the individual customers and the orders that they made. To begin, let's start off by looking at the syntax of a join and the very simple and most common type of join, which is called the inner join. Concerning the syntax of a join, we always need to specify what table we are joining to what other table. And in this case, we're going to be joining the orders table to the customers table. And in addition to that, we need to specify what column we're going to be joining these two tables together with. And in this case, we're going to be using the customer ID because, as we said earlier, that is a column which is in both tables. And since we're using an inner join, we're only going to be returning the records that have a customer ID that appears in both the orders table and the customers table. To say that in a little bit more simple way, if we have a customer in the customers table that does not have any orders, he will not be included in this join. Similarly, if we have any orders with customers that are not in the customers table, these records will also be left out. And so if I run this statement, you can see that that is exactly what happens. We have 5 records that are output, but there is records that are left out. So if I go back to the orders table, you can see that the customer ID number 5 at the very end has ordered an item which is a chair. But this customer does not appear in the customers table, and that is why he's not included in this inner join. And at the same time, if we go back to the customers table, there are 2 customers that do not have any orders. That means these 2 customers aren't included in this inner join either. But what would happen if we specify that we want to show all the customers from the customers table regardless of whether they have an order or not? In this case, we would need to use the right join because the right join is going to return all the records where there is a match of customer ID between the order and the customers table, and in addition to that, it is also going to display any records from the customer table where there is no match in the orders table. You can also see this in the output because you can clearly see that we have the customers with the ID 3 and 4 that have no orders, but they're still displayed in this table. Now, if there is a right join, there of course is also a left join. And in this case, the left join is going to show us all the records from the orders table irrespective of whether or not there is a customer. And that is also something that you can observe from the output table. You can see that we have a customer ID number 5 in the order table, which is a ordered chair, but this chair that has been ordered by the customer ID number 5 does not actually have a record in the customer ID table. So, in practice, this might be an erroneous or wrong order that has not been matched to any customer, or perhaps a customer has been falsely deleted from the customer table, which is why there is no more match. So now that we have a good understanding of the inner join, the right join, and the left join, let's take a look at some more comprehensive things that we can do with the join statements. So in the customers table, you know that we have a customer called James Gates. How about we try and determine all the orders from the customer James Gates? To do that, we first need to select a few columns. We're going to select the first name and the last name from the customers table and the items column from the orders table. Then we have to specify a source from which we're going to take this data, and the source is going to be a join of 2 tables, which is going to be the customers table and the orders table, and we're joining them on the customer ID column. Finally, we said that we want the orders from James Gates. We know that the customer ID of James Gates is the customer ID 2. So finally, we have to add this where the customer ID is equal to 2. And then if we execute this, you'll be able to see that we get all the individual orders from James Gates. The next question that we could ask and then subsequently solve with a join statement is who ordered the pen. So you can see in the orders table that we have a pen which was ordered, but we want to find the corresponding name from the customers table. So we're going to be selecting the first and the last name from the customers table, and then we're going to create a join on the customer ID again. And finally, in the where statement, we're going to say that the item that we're looking for, which is from the orders table, is the pen. And when we run this, you'll be able to see that it is John Oliver who ordered the pen. And it's easy to check this result because you can see that the pen has a customer who's bought it with a customer ID 1. And then if we subsequently look into the customers table, you can see that the customer number 1 is John Oliver. So that works. The final thing that we're going to do is we're going to count the number of orders for each individual customer. To do that, we're going to select the customer ID, the first name and the last name from the customers table. And we're also going to add a count of records. Then we're going to add an inner join between the orders and the customers on the customer ID column. And finally, we're going to be grouping by the customer ID in the customers table. And when we execute the statement, you can see that John Oliver has 3 orders and James Gates has 2 orders. So we're going to leave it at that. I hope it helped. If it did, then make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you are new. And we're going to see each other in the next video.